Hey guys, welcome to the Tough Puff. This is Daniel speaking. Today we're going to go over a Giratina Bronzong Tyrantrum EX deck. So, this deck is one that had a lot of hype during regionals, but that was in the expanded format. And you could probably see lists for it. I think it won Vancouver. So there's a list for that on Pokemon.com if you'd like to see the deck in expanded. But today I plan on showing you guys the deck in standard, which is something that a lot of people have attempted and not been able to execute successfully. So let's get into that. So we have 2 Giratina EX, 3 Bronzong, 4 Bronzor, a Tyrantrum EX, a Dialga EX, 2 Aegislash EX, a Hoopa EX, and 3 Shaman EX. Now, this is probably the same amount of attackers as you would have in a metal deck, more or less, and the same line of support Pokemon too, 1 Hoopa, 3 Shaman. That seems pretty standard. There really isn't anything crazy about this deck. Maybe just the fact that you're using double dragon energies. I don't know. But the whole point of the deck is Bronzong's Metal Links. Attach a metal energy card from your discard pile to one of your bench Pokemon. Paired with Giratina and Tyrantrum, and double dragon energies. Because Giratina does Chaos Wheel. Your opponent can't play any Pokemon tools, special energy, or stadium cards from his or her hand during his or her next turn. And has Renegade Pulse, preventing damage done to Giratina by Megas. So, one thing that Metal was having trouble with was Rayquaza. Rayquaza could potentially get out 6 Pokemon that are not Shamans, aka not able to be one-shotted by any attacker in Metal, and then start hitting for 180 damage, knocking out every Pokemon in the Metal deck with ease. And it was so easy to get on 3 basic energies with Mega Turbo and Sunlister and Metal Links. So it was too easy to knock out Aegislash, so the deck just wasn't working. So now we use Giratina EX to Chaos Wheel. So no stadiums, get rid of that Sky Field. No Pokemon tools, get rid of those Spirit Links and those Muscle Bands. And no special energy cards, so no DCE. So Giratina is just the best starter for the deck. You can't really, use anything else turn 2 and have it be effective. Like, I mean, you can get a knockout with Tyrantrum by turn 2 if you're fortunate enough to have out 2 Bronzongs by then. But if you do that, then it's kind of, it's kind of hard to bounce back, especially if your Tyrantrum gets knocked out. So yeah, so that's Giratina. Next is the 4-3 Bronzong line. The idea of a 4-3 Bronzong line is to ensure that you can that one of your Bronzongs, if it gets knocked out, one of your Bronzors, if it gets knocked out, you'll still be able to set up all 3 Bronzong in the game. And if you have a 1-1 line prized, you still have 2 Bronzong, which is pretty much what you need to function. So that's the idea behind a 4-3 Bronzong line. Not really much to that. Tyrantrum EX. His ability gets through any effects on your opponent's active Pokemon, meaning it gets through Safeguard, it gets through Regice's whatchamacallit attack. The name completely escapes me right now. It gets through a Hard Charm. There's just nothing that the Tyrantrum doesn't bite through. So he's a really good attacker also, especially in expanded, and maybe now with the new Mewtwo coming out, because his Dragon Impact discards 3 energies attached to him. So usually you won't have 3 metals attached, so you'll have to discard your double dragon energy and a metal, which brings you down to 1 energy. So Yveltal EX or this new Mega Mewtwo EXY, they can't hit for nearly as much as they could have had you had all 4 energies attached. Next we have Dialga EX and 2 Aegislash EX, which are your metal attackers for the deck. Dialga EX I just put in there recently because one problem I was having was either not having double dragon energies or not needing as much damage as Tyrantrum puts out, and not being able to get a knockout with as little damage as Giratina puts out. So the idea was 150 with full metal impact plus 20 off of a muscle band or faded town will be able to get me some knockouts. It'll be able to one-shot Trevenant EX. It'll be able to one-shot Shamans, which Giratina can't do. And he's just a great attacker against fairy decks as well. Like if someone tries to bring out a Gardevoir and knock out my dragon types, then I just turn it into a metal matchup and just you know, and just go on the aggressive with those. Aegislash also is for the Mighty Shield ability against Night March. It's really nice. Against Giratina Seismitoad, if you send out 2 Aegislash, they're stuck. They can Hex Maniac, but if they Hex Maniac, then they're wasting their supporter for the turn. So you can get hits off them. They can't Cassius, they can't AZ. And if they do, then they're wasting a VS Seeker and they're not Hex Maniacing again. So Mighty Shield is still active and they're not getting an attack off that turn. So these guys go a long way in that matchup. Next we have your support guys, Hoopa and 3 Shaman. Hoopa, Scoundrel Ring is because you play 9 searchable EXs in the deck, and Hoopa's just a great card now in decks like these that use that have an energy acceleration that works for so many different guys, because like he's your non-item way of searching out your EXs. So in some matchups, it's extremely important that you get your Hoopa going, because say they get a turn 1 Vileplume or a quick Quaking Punch, you need that Hoopa to be able to search out your guys. Also, he just grabs you 3 Lickety Split, and it's just so fast, and there's nothing your opponent can really do about it except Hex Maniac, or not even Wobbuffet, because he's a Psychic type. So there you go. Hoopa's just really good at getting your Pokemon out, and then at that point you can just focus on getting out Bronzongs. Very nice card to have. 3 Shaman EX. Setup, Sky Return. What more can I say? So that'll do it for the Pokemon. Now let's get on to all these trainer cards. We have 4 Sycamore, standard. We have 1 Birch, 1 Shauna, standard. 1 Hex Maniac, standard. 2 Lysander, standard. 2 AZ. This list was sent to me by a friend maybe a month ago. It was in its basic stages. It wasn't really set up this way at all. And he ran 1 AZ and I think 3 switches and 1 escape rope. And I couldn't do that. I couldn't allow a Bronzong to get Lysandered up, and then I couldn't allow myself to have discarded my AZ early or wasted my AZ and not be able to pick the Bronzong back up. So my goal was to find room for a second AZ. So I took out the 3rd switch, put in the 2nd AZ. So now if I'm under item lock, and I've used an AZ. I still have another one that I don't have to VS Seeker for. So yeah, 4 VS Seekers, standard. 4 Ultra Ball, standard. 2 Level Ball. Search out Bronzor, search out Bronzong. That's all they're there for. You have so many of the guys. You have 7 targets in all for Level Ball, so, you know, why not use it? Most of the time, your hand consists of stuff that you'd rather not really discard, which is why we play Battle Compressor. Search your deck for Metal Energies, get them out of there. Search your deck for that AZ, get it out of there. To VS Seeker. You need Battle Compressor in a metal deck. 1 could be enough, but 2 is a safer number, especially with all the item lock in standard. 2 switch and 1 escape rope. I just explained the story to you guys. I started out with 3 and 1, but I decided to go -1 switch plus a second AZ, and it has been phenomenal in testing. These 3 still feels like a lot of switch, so it's fine, in my opinion. And with the new Zoroark coming out, you could easily turn this into 1/1 Zoroark, 1 Floatstone, and just, you know, treat it as a Russian Keldeo. We have Muscle Band, just 1. Most decks obviously opt to play 3 Muscle Band. That's like the standard number of Muscle Bands you would see in a deck usually. But this deck only plays 1 because you don't need 1 for Giratina. He's 2-shotting anything no matter what. If it's a Mega, you have Faded Town to put damage on it, and they can't get rid of the stadium. If there's a guy that has a bunch of HP, you just go Tyrantrum and bite him for 190. So the Muscle Band is mostly for just whoever needs it at that time. Most likely you could Sky Return for 50 against decks like Mienshao or something, I don't know. But it's always nice to have 1 Muscle Band. 2 Skyfield. The reason Skyfield is in the deck is because normally you don't know whether you want to set up Metal, Dragon, 3 Bronzongs. You got to get your Shamans out, your Hoopas. So this allows you to put all your Pokemon on the field. It allows you to use Giratina's Chaos Wheel to put to leave Skyfield in play, and then it allows you to eventually replace them with Faded Town when you figure out which Pokemon you're going to need for this particular game. So Skyfield is the best supporter for this deck. You could run Steel Shelter, but it only helps out, you know, like 3 Pokemon, because it doesn't matter if your Bronzong gets poisoned, right? So yeah, Skyfield is just definitely the best stadium, especially with so many Pokemon in the deck. Lastly, for the trainers, we have Faded Town. At any time between turns, put 2 damage counters on each Mega Evolution Pokemon. The idea is if Giratina's hitting 100 and locking a stadium into place, when you're playing against Mega Manectric EX, Primal Kyogre EX, Mega Rayquaza EX, you're locking in a stadium that is not beneficial to them in any way. It damages them, and it allows Giratina to get a two-hit knockout on them, which is not possible prior because you're only doing 200 damage after 2 Chaos Wheels. So this turns it into 240 and 260 in between turns. So they're not surviving that. So Faded Town is a great card in the deck. You could run Shadow Circle if you're afraid of fairies, but I wouldn't be afraid of fairies with all the metal in your deck. Now for energy, 4 Double Dragon energy. You run 2 Giratina and a Tyrantrum, so you're going to want 4 of those. 3 Double Colorless energy. The idea is that you want to have a turn 2 Chaos Wheel. First turn, Double Dragon. Second turn, Double Colorless. In case you can't get your Bronzongs out, or in case you get Hex Maniac, these guys are necessary. I don't know how many people use DCE in this list, but I mean, you kind of have to. also it helps out Aegislash to getting a turn 2, or at least in 2 turns, setting up a whatever his attack's called, Slash Blast. Lastly, 5 medals. You could run more, but I mean, I don't really see a point in running more. 6 medals means that your Aegislash is hitting for 180 damage with all 6 of them attached. No, it means he's hitting 180 damage with all 6 attached and a muscle band attached. So it allows you to hit 180 damage with Aegislash EX, but you rarely need to because of Tyrantrum. So, and lastly, Fighting Energy. The one Fighting Energy gives you a lot of options for this deck. You can throw in a Hawlucha, you can throw in a Lucario EX. I don't know, you could throw in a Landorus EX and expanded, but the whole point of the Fighting Energy obviously is for Tyrantrum, because he takes 1 Fighting, 2 Metal, and 1 Colorless Energy as requirements for Dragon Impact, and and you can attach that, put 3 Metals on, and then you know, an attack without having to waste a Double Dragon, or in case you run out of Double Dragons. So it just gives you options. Always nice to have. So there you have it, guys. That is the Giratina Bronzong Tyrantrum EX deck. Hopefully you guys will check it out, test it, and see that it works and it's a good deck in Standard. I'm not sure how Breakthrough will impact it. Besides, you know, Float Stones, maybe Assault Vest if you're afraid of Night March, maybe Parallel City as a counter to Rayquaza and stuff. Lock in Parallel City, and even if they Hex Maniac your Giratina, they're still only hitting for 90 instead of for 150. You have Judge now. There's so many different options with this new set, but I think that the deck is best the way it is. So thanks, guys. Thanks for watching. Like, comment, and subscribe. We love hearing from you guys. We love checking out your comments and making some videos based on you know, some of the decks you guys asked to see. We love all of that interaction. Please please check out our Facebook page. Recently we put up a Tough Puff Facebook page, so it's just the Tough Puff, you know, blue Jigglypuff, well, blue border behind a Jigglypuff. Check that out, give it a like, share it on your page, show all your friends. We're gonna be doing a lot of stuff on there. You can interact with us better on there too, and and yeah, so thanks, guys, and we'll see you next time.